My dear nerds, we need to talk about the fact that we have goldfish memories. In fact, I would say that this is an insult to goldfish. We have, what's lower than goldfish in terms of memory retention? We have bacteria memories. I assume bacteria don't have memories. But that's because we have no memory retention when it comes... actually, wait, much better. When it comes to actually remembering the handhelds that were released in the past, we have this very convenient for companies way of forgetting. And I want to gently nudge all of you into making you remember that this thing exists. This is the RG35XX H. And I'm sure you know what it is, but I think this needs to be revisited a bit, because this is one of the handhelds that cannot get old. It simply can't. And this is because what I would call the Anbernic Effect. So you might ask yourself, Vlad, what the heck is the Anbernic Effect? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Anbernic Effect is a term that I invented just now because Anbernic releases a lot of handhelds, and I mean a lot, with the same hardware. This has the H700 SoC in it, and along with this one, there's also a literal ocean, a plethora, if you will, of other handhelds with the same SoC. And this brings me to my point that even though the RG35XX H was released quite a while ago, because it was one of the first with this SoC, it can never become obsolete. Well, at least not as long as all the other Anbernic handhelds with the same SoC are still out there and not obsolete. You know, this is literally like having a 10-year-old car and all of a sudden a new fancy, more exciting car gets released, but it has the same freaking engine as the other one, like the identical one to spec. It makes no sense in the car industry, and it would make no sense in a lot of industries, but this happens in the retro community, and there are reasons for this. Companies get to form real communities that create a lot of custom firmware for their devices. The second you have a million devices with the same SoC is the second in which those devices become easy to support out of the box, basically. An SoC built for one handheld, which has the H700, means that all handhelds with the H700 are very, very compatible and very easy to be supported by that custom firmware. But this is not why I made this video, my dear nerds. It's not. As a first reason, I missed talking with you. As a second reason, though, I wanted to highlight the fact that the RG35XX H is in the Goldilocks zone right now, and it's the best zone in which a handheld can be when, you know, people might want to purchase a handheld, but they don't want to spend new handheld money. This was on the market for enough time that the price for the RG35XX H is actually pretty low. You can get it for around $40 on AliExpress, and it doesn't even have to be in a special, let's say, limited time promotion or anything. It's just that it was released for quite a while now, and everybody has talk of it because everybody buys the new thing and they tend to forget about the good old boys. But quick intermission, my dear nerds. The camera through which you're seeing me right now is actually freshly released. In fact, I think OBSBOT just announced it 24 hours ago or something like this. This is the OBSBOT Meet 2, and it's actually quite a cute, cheap camera, in the sense that for its price, it offers quite a lot of value and quite a lot of performance. And the main claims to fame for this camera is that it's petite. It's so freaking small. Look at this. Look how adorable. And it has quite a few interesting features, like you can flip it around and you can use it for portrait filming in case you're one of those people that likes YouTube Shorts or TikToks or whatever portrait, short form, attention span destroying content you like. And if you want to create that, you can with this camera. And it also has an auto framing feature, which I assume you saw. Basically, it knows how to focus on me, and I can use it for dramatic effect. Like if my boss would tell me, Vlad, those how are real jobs? Let me think. Vlad, those reports aren't in time. And I would be just standing there in the Zoom call or whatever, and I would do this. You know, a bit of zooming in for dramatic effect. So yeah, it has this rather cute auto-framing feature, the portrait thing. It's 129 euros, but I'll also leave a 5% coupon in the video description for anyone who might want to get it. Thanks OBSBOT for sending it, and now back to our regularly scheduled program. I would argue that the RG35XX H is still better than a lot of its brothers and sisters that share the same SoC. Look, I know a lot of you fine nerds, you hate sticks. I don't know why you're heathens like that. But I ask you, are sticks not useful? Some games come from platforms which have sticks. You cannot toggle a virtual stick and bind it to a D-pad. I mean, you can, it's literally a hotkey on Anbernic devices without sticks, but the experience wouldn't be the same. Some games are perfect for D-pad, others are perfect for sticks. And I would always choose, even if I would hate sticks, I would always choose a device with sticks, just for the moments when I would want to play those games. And yeah, I know some of you fine nerds will tell me, but Vlad, didn't you turn all scorched earth on this handheld because the battery basically sat on top of the SoC? Well, yeah, I did, and I still think that the design could have been improved, but just as a lot of you fine nerds pointed out to me, when it comes to these handhelds, ideally, we should still change the batteries inside them every 2 years or so, because all of them are gonna wear out. These are not necessarily high quality batteries, so when we have a handheld, we must factor in that after 2 years, every battery degrades, and we should focus quite enough on maintaining it after a couple of years, in case we don't buy, I don't know, 20 other handhelds by that point. So I would say, upon further reflection and upon being bullied, I'm joking, I wasn't bullied, but upon hearing the feedback of the community, a lot of you actually raised very good points, meaning that the battery thing was not the end of the world. I guess I just, I don't know, jumped the gun way too quickly on that. As you fine nerds might know, in case you've been following me for a while, is that this is low-key one of my favorite handhelds. In fact, it was my favorite for quite a while. Well, the thing that we need to always put in perspective, my dear nerds, when talking about Anbernic Linux devices is that they are a family of devices. And the first handhelds that we need to compare them with is with the others in the same Anbernic family as well. And in that context, we should also do a calculus of how much do we receive per dollar spent, because I'm a cheapskate. I guess this is the point of the video. I'm a cheapskate, and I figured that this actually is the best value for money when it comes to Anbernic devices right now. If you're looking for practicality and not nostalgia feel, because DSP has that covered. But yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. This is the Swiss Army knife of handhelds. And no one, my dear nerds, can take that away from this. It's like, it's perfect for being a Swiss Army knife. And my god, I need to charge the battery of this thing. I've been recording this for quite a while apparently. So, just to cover the basic specs in case there's any new viewers here or any new people in the retro scene which lived under a rock. Basically, this has 2 SD cards, 2 speakers. It has these awesome, I cannot understate this, and I accidentally turned off my recording. I blabbed for like 5 more minutes by myself. Ugh, that was fun. So, I cannot understate how useful these rubber pads are. Every freaking handheld, no matter the size, shape, budget, should have these, in my opinion. They are like, look at this, it sticks, you can't scratch it, it's flipping amazing. It's what handhelds should have. And yeah, my main point in this video is that this is just as powerful as anything else that was released, but it's significantly cheaper. You get way more handheld for the money. And my relationship with the RG35XX H as you might know, in case you're an, old viewer of mine, is, well, fairly complicated to say the least, actually. Look how many takes I have. Wait. These are all recordings, my dear, my dear nerds. Let me just minimize this and blah blah blah, some background, perfect. So, continuing, well, what was I saying? Ah yeah, my relationship with this flipping thing. This was my favorite handheld. I made a million videos on the RG35XX H, and I might just actually make a couple more. But the fact of the matter is that at one point we, and by we I mean me and it, we had a falling out, because I discovered that the battery was sitting on top of the SoC, and looking back on it, I guess it was more disappointment than anything else. I actually felt, it's gonna sound very, very silly, I actually felt a bit heartbroken knowing that that was the design of this. But now I'm kind of over it, because, batteries were down anyway. We will have to replace the batteries on any handhelds that we have in the house. So, carpe diem, live and let live, blah blah blah. So tell me what you think. Would you consider getting an RG35XX H? Or more importantly, do you have one already? Because this was out there for quite a bit of time and it was very popular. I think most of you fine nerds that are watching this might have one. Or in case you don't, are you planning on getting one? Let me know in the comments. And as always, my dear nerds, please subscribe if you like what I do here. You would really help me a lot with this channel if you were to subscribe, and I would personally appreciate it a whole lot. Because contrary to popular belief, doing YouTube videos is actually pretty flipping exhausting, and you basically donate your time to this. Nobody's like jumping like Scrooge McDuck inside piles of coins. This is basically passion work, I would say. So if you want to support me more directly and to feed me future handhelds, then, feel free to help me out. There's links in the description of this video, and you would also get your rightful place on my wall of fame, which is this wall of fame with all of these awesome people that decided to support me more directly. But anyway, my dear nerds, I plan on making way more videos in the future at an increasingly faster rate, so make sure to stick around. Again, subscribe if you haven't. And remember, this is not, a thing that a person on YouTube says. I genuinely love you. As a community, I am of the idea that we must be like-minded. If you listened to my rant for, I turned off the recording a million times. I have to stitch like 5 videos. But I assume you listened to this for at least 20 minutes, which means that we would get along in real life. So yeah, I love you. That's not gonna change. So, see you in the next one.